everyone, my name is Elena Howard and I am the founder of Cosmopolitan Academy. Today we're actually going to be taking some time to talk about the importance of isolation. It is completely paramount when we're lashing. So with that being said, make sure that you also hit the bell below and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Okay, so let's jump in and get started. Okay, so let's go to the absolute basics and we're going to start with the actual tweezer that we're using. What we want is a curvature in the tweezer. Okay, so this actually protects the eyelid and the skin and also helps us come in on the right angle so that when we are isolating, we get just one single lash without hitting the eyelid itself. That's number one. Number two, I see a lot of technicians and they're using the tweezer upside down. Okay, so they're coming in on the skin and they're running the risk of hitting the eyelid. Also, they're going to be pushing other lashes down and it makes it really hard to glue an eyelash extension to the natural lash without gluing things together. Lastly, how are we holding our tweezer itself, okay? So some technicians are holding it like this and we're coming in. Again, we're going to be running the risk of pushing on the eyelid, puncturing the skin, or not being able to properly isolate one single lash at a time and then running the risk of gluing things together, which causes a lot of damage. So when we're holding our isolation tweezer, we want to hold it almost like a pen, okay? Never over top of the eyes, okay? Always horizontal when we're coming in, and hold it like a pen so that we have a 40-degree angle coming in from the forehead. When we're isolating, it's okay to use two tweezers, okay? So you can move some of the hairs out of the way, and then you only have to fight with one single lash. It makes it a lot easier than trying to isolate with one hand. With time, of course, this will become easier, but when you're first starting, don't be afraid to use your straight tweezer, which is your pickup tweezer, to move some lashes out of the way and to help in the process. Proper isolation looks like this. We're holding the tweezer on 40-degree angle, holding it like a pen in our hand, not underneath, in the palm of our hand, okay? And both tips of the tweezer are resting gently on the under eye pad, which is also protecting the skin. None of the tweezer is sitting on the eyelid as well, okay? That's before we pick up and place a lash. It's not unusual for the isolation to be the hardest part when we're first learning. So I recommend, if you have hubby or a friend or even your kids if they're older and they'll keep their eyes closed, for 5 minutes a night, have them lay down even when you're watching TV and just work on isolation, okay? Because it is paramount in a good set of lashes. You'll get faster as well as more confident, and you'll run less of a risk of ever gluing anything together the more confident you become with your isolation. Okay, so a newer way to help us isolate, okay, of course our tweezers are the end all be all in a proper isolation. However, there are techniques now that we can use to help assist and make it a little bit easier. So if we pull up all our top lashes, because we have different layers of lashes, if we pull up the top layer using tape and tape it back, what we can do is create less volume in the way while we're isolating. So I prefer, instead of pulling all the lashes up at one time, I do one section at a time and work away there. So if I go in and I pull up all these really long lashes, you're just holding the tips of them, okay? And pull them up. Then we get these bottom layers. Okay, now make sure they're not baby lashes. Okay, they still have to be full grown before you go in and isolate. Okay, so make sure that you're only still doing, even though they're a little bit shorter on the lower level of our lash line, okay, there's still full grown lashes in there. And see how much easier it is instead of fighting with all this volume in here, okay? And then I would go in and I would fill these, and then I would want to move my tape. Be very careful when you're taking it off that doesn't pull any. You should never ever have lashes on your tape. If that happens, your tape is way too sticky. You need a different type of tape, okay? And then in this corner, and then I would do the same. I would isolate in the inside corner. And you can see how I won't have as many, but I still have 4 or 5 on the lower level that I could fill without fighting with all of this volume.